Welcome to Sovereign Conversations with the Soul Attorney, the podcast where law, leadership, and liberation collide. I'm your host, Vanessa Cicero, lawyer, entrepreneur, energy worker, and your guide to building a business and life that's truly sovereign. Here, we challenge the status quo, outdated business rules, and explore what it really means to be sovereign in your life and work. Whether we're breaking down legal essentials, tapping into spiritual downloads and the power of intention, or we're having deep, unfiltered conversations with visionary entrepreneurs, healers, and thought leaders, every episode is designed to help you step into your power, protect what matters, and create your life on your own terms. So if you're ready to create a life and business rooted in belief, power, and purpose, take a deep breath, step into your sovereignty, because court is now in session. Oh, 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 oh. Welcome back to Sovereign Conversations with the Soul Attorney. I'm your host, Vanessa Cicero, and today I'm joined by Amanda Wilson-Ciocci, an amazing sovereign soul, and she is going to light us up with, her story. And I'm so excited that Amanda's here today. Amanda, I'll give a little intro about her, and then we're going to dive right in. Amanda is a 2-time best-selling author, business strategist, cancer survivor, and mama of 3. As the founder of the Monarch Co, Monarch Momentum Community, and Monarch Publishing House, she spent over 20 years dedicated to helping heart-centered, visionary leaders get inspired about their life, passionate about their work, and connected to their purpose so that they can increase their impact, build legacy in the world, and kick ass. Because I know for sure that Amanda helps people kick ass because I am a product of her badassery. So Amanda, welcome to the show today. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited and pumped to be here.
Yes. So for anyone who's tuning in for the first time, this show is for you. If you're unsure of where your place is, what your voice is, what your impact is supposed to be in this world, if you feel hesitant about taking aligned action about where your community is, this is the episode for you. So tune in, stick around, because this is going to be full of gold nuggets. I know Amanda's got so many gold nuggets up her sleeve. So welcome, Amanda, again. I would love to just pass the mic over to you and set us up. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and what makes you a sovereign person.
Oh, big question. Love it. Love being here. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. I love listening to your podcast. I love the messages that you're sharing. And so it's an honor to be here. So first, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Question, story. How long do we have? Is this like a day long podcast?
I know we could go on.
So I'm, as you said, Amanda, founder of the Monarch Co. So much goes behind that title and, what we do and who we are in this world. And I think, to answer your question of, what makes me sovereign or what does that mean to me is really, living in alignment with our values and our purpose. So tapping into what those mean for us. And so often we get into the living and the doing and the being that we forget to look at what those core values are and what's important to us, and really tapping into the alignment of what that means and living in that and living in integrity of what those core values are for you.
Oh, I love that. And I know you're always about clarity and like getting super clear on values. And that was actually something that when I participated in your program, when I was just getting started back in like 2021 now, it really helped me to get aligned with my values. And so maybe you can share a little bit about your story and how you came to get so clear on your values, and like what, drives that for you.
Yeah, big question. So I think the birth of the Monarch Co really started when I had, a really stable, consistent job, and I lost that unexpectedly. And so And a whole lot of things came with that story. You'll have to read the book to get into the the nitty gritty of it. But it was at a place where I had to really look at, okay, where am I? What do I want to do? How do I want to move forward? And what's important to me? And when that sort of light bulb moment went off, and that's a chapter in the book, is, how do I want to actually build in alignment with my core values and what's important to me, and what is the space that I want to hold, and what do I want to contribute to? If I am going to put time and energy into building something, how do I want to build it with integrity, with love, with connection, with all the things that are important to me in this life, and how the legacy that I want to build, not only for my business, for my clients, for the community, but also my kids and for the next generations that have to come through it and do what we're doing.
Oh, I know. Being intentional takes distilling, right? And coming to that North Star or something that's going to give you at least an outline of what you want to, start putting your action towards. So, maybe without kind of giving too much away from the chapter in your book, like, was there ever something like super pivotal? I know there's, a lot of, you've done so many incredible things in your life, but was there something pivotal or a moment that changed everything, or something that you really had to overcome as you gained that clarity, in your values?
Yeah, definitely that transition was a big one, because it was sort of one that came out of the blue, and then really looking at, okay, if I'm going to be a leader of a boss, then how do I actually want to contribute in this world? How do I want to build those values and really see an alignment? So I think that moment was really crucial at looking at, I was kind of just going through the motions of working for someone. And so now that I was creating something that I sort of made those decisions, then I had to really look at, okay, how do I want to build this? And what is going to be the, like you said, the North Star, the guiding light that is going to help me, one, show up in integrity and build something that I'm actually proud of. And so that was really the key moment for the business and sort of how I built or how I started to build this vision. And I think, if we go back even before that point, again, I talk about a moment, and this is more personal in my journey, where I went through the cancer diagnosis and that whole journey. And that was a moment I talk about where, you're kind of at your lowest low. And I was literally in a basement thinking, oh gosh, like, how am I going to get myself out of here? You're in the dark headspace where you don't want to be. And, I talk about it in the book, this story of just being in this place of, darkness, not knowing, necessarily what the future holds, but really having hope and knowing, okay, this is not how my story ends. And so if this isn't, how do I want to move out from here? And hearing that inner voice and that inner wisdom, really, I talk about it as a whisper that said, you're the only one that can get yourself out of here. And it was that moment that made me realize I have the power to change this, to, really attach to that vision, to actually create intentional actions that are going to shift the outcome. And so that really was the pivotal moment personally that has affected so many decisions in life and business, that really makes me realize we do have the power to change our future based on the thoughts and the feelings that we have about the present moment.
I love that. And that's kind of what I was hoping you would say, because I feel like there's so many people out there that can really resonate with what you're going through. And a lot of origin stories of entrepreneurs kind of start with, some kind of analogous situation, whether it's, that the rug being pulled out from under you, or transitions for whatever reason. The economy's crazy right now. The last several years, like, anyone who's a millennial, like, all the memes speak for themselves. But I think what I really loved hearing is that you chose your personal power. And there was, sometimes I think there's a quote by Rumi. It's like, in the darkness, the cracks let the light in. It's like, only when there's darkness can you see light. And it's like, you let the light in just enough to, that whisper you said that, maybe I can believe in myself. And I think I think I want to like drill on that a little bit, because that belief in yourself and the belief that your actions implement and actually have a really legit scientific effect on, the outcome is a huge, groundbreaking, seismic mindset shift and light bulb moment that a lot of people have to have in order to get that personal sense of empowerment. So maybe can you share a little bit more about that mindset shift and maybe what's kind of supported you or things you had to overcome as you were kind of making those empowered decisions?
Yeah. And for that specific journey, it really was kind of a deciding moment. It was deciding that and realizing that, okay, I do have the power. I can change this outcome and I will. It was just
sheer force of will,
determination that this was going to be the outcome in the story, and really attaching to that belief system that no other outcome was possible, that this was the belief and I had it, and it didn't matter if anyone else had it or had doubt in it or questioned or worried or anything. It was just my firm belief that there was no other alternative outcome. And so that was really, I think, one way that you can go for sure. And that really helped me in that moment. And I think another way that is really crucial, especially when you hit those low moments or those past points along the journey where you aren't necessarily confident, and this is more applicable in business, where you might hit a roadblock or you might not believe that vision is possible, is the borrowed belief is so important, because we can borrow belief from our community. We can borrow belief from our coach. We can borrow belief from our mentors to know, okay, I see the vision, I can feel it, but I need the borrowed belief.
I love that.
We need, it takes a village, right?
No doubt. Literally like mirrors, back to you. And like, that was what I talked a bit about in last week's episode, how valuable community has been along the journey. And I have heard the term borrowed belief, but I love that you brought it up again, because it really is, necessary to surround yourself with people who can reflect that higher vision for yourself when you can't see it. And I think sometimes we get so isolated in whatever like circles we're in, especially if you're in a 9-to-5 now and you're not in an entrepreneurial world and you don't have friends that are also doing this and you're not in communities. Like, you go to your job and you go home and you like work on your side hustle on your own and your own lonesome. And so that audacity to like have, oh yeah, I'm going to make 10K months. Like, if you're just brand new at, it's not going to equate. And there's something that I can't recall who said it or where it came from, but it was like this visualization that's like, if you're going to drive your car across the country in the middle of the night, your car headlights only show, the next 100 feet in front of you. You don't need to see all the way from here, to the other side of the country. You just need to see 100 feet ahead of you.
Yeah.
And when you're surrounded by people who are also doing it, you learn so much. So tell me a little bit about, how community has been, an important part of your empowerment journey.
Oh, like everything. I mean, really, like I said, it takes a village, and I really believe that. And I mean, we often create what we need, and so creating the community was definitely part of that need of bringing people together, loving bringing people together, loving to create that momentum, but also seeing the impact of that, seeing the impact of when you are connected to a community, when you can borrow belief, when you can have the resources and tools to support you, then the impact and the ripple effect of that is massive. So I think what I love most about it is the quantum leaps that happen, right? We can go on our growth journey. We can kind of follow the roadmap of X, Y, Z and one step in front of the other. And then when we have these opportunities to connect with different phases, different stages, different community members, then you have the ability to actually quantum leap where you're at because you see a different route altogether that you didn't necessarily, right? Those headlights will show you only a certain path.
Totally.
And then someone else will be like, hey, check out over here.
I love that. And that was kind of going to lead into my next question, because quantum leaping sometimes feels like you're, breaking the rules. So like, sometimes when you're being sovereign, one of my principles is work smarter, not harder, right? And so when you surround yourself and you put yourself in rooms of people who are thinking smarter than you are, you allow yourself to quantum leap. Like that's one of the strategies. So are there any other like strategies or things that you use, or like any, practical wisdom that you can drop? I know you have so many gold nuggets up your sleeve. Is there anything like that or a practice or a mindset shift or something that you can like throw down here for the listeners to kind of help them with that?
Yeah. One that I'm working through right now in a mastermind, and I'm absolutely loving it, is it's self-mastery. And it's really about mastery and mastering the basics. And so really being okay with every growth phase that you hit and next level, being okay with being a beginner, being okay with learning something with a new lens. Because as I learned through this process, I'm like, I went into a program and I was like, I already know that I don't need to do that again. Literally didn't do the module. I was like, well, I know this.
Sure.
And then in that week, something came up where I was like, you know what? I need to come at this like a beginner. I need to see this with a new lens, put on new glasses, and go at this and totally, like we're talking about, quantum leaped where I was to be able to see something in a totally different way, to give a solution to something that opened up so many opportunities for me, for the business. So absolutely so crucial, I think, in any phase of growth to look at how can you be a beginner, regardless of where you're at, because you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to transform. And entrepreneurship really is a spiral. You're spiraling up and down.
Right? Like just riding the swirl.
Yeah. And like really that's what life is about. It's about learning and growing and, transforming and changing and just expanding your potential. And so if you can really come at it with not trying to get to a destination, but really focus on how you can be a beginner and a learner and expand your growth through the journey, I think is just so enriching for yourself and what you can create in this world.
I love that. And like so many beautiful things were firing when you were sharing, Amanda, because I know one of the visuals that, the Monarch Co is centered around is the beautiful monarch butterfly. And we know that all butterflies, they go through metamorphosis, and metamorphosis involves, that breakdown, that recreation, that growth mindset, that phoenix energy, that rebirth. And when you were talking about growth mindset as like a business principle and an empowerment principle, I think it applies across the board. And if you think about some like Eastern traditions and the idea of being so mindful of your life with that non-judgmental awareness, like a child experiencing everything for the first time. And, if you want to find joy in your life, just pretend this is the first time you've ever seen traffic on the 401. Like if you want to see traffic in your, if you want to have joy in your life, pretend this is the first time you've ever, watched a commercial or done something that's like really grinding your gears today. But when you approach it with that child's beginner mindset, all the challenges, the things that we face in life, in business, as you said, the dark moments, the ups and downs, I really love. It's so simple, but it is so profound and like widely applicable. So I freaking love that. Okay. I love that.
And I'll add too that it's often the thing that holds us back or keeps us stuck. And you'll hear your mind chatter go, I'm here again, or, I'm working through this, or I'm here, but why am I, focusing on this? Because you're supposed to. It is like I said, mastery is mastering the basics. It is working on these things with that growth mindset of, okay, yes, this might feel the same, but I'm actually different because I've gone through this metamorphosis. And so how can I now approach this with a new lens to kind of level up? And often entrepreneurs think, well, okay, linear, I'm only going to go through the messy metamorphosis once and then I'm going to soar like a butterfly. Great. And it's a journey. Monarchs migrate.
They do it every year, right? Every season. You're going to have winter in your business every year. You're going to go through spring and summer in your business in cycles just like that. And it's akin to something I learned recently in a mastermind, like the change curve, right? Like sometimes shit gets worse before it gets better, but then you elevate and you're on the next level, but then you hit the next curve and you're down again. And, anyone following, the markets, things go down, they go up, things go in all directions. But it's like riding that wave with the mindset of like accepting where you are without that judgment and saying, what can I do to grow? What can I do to, get that clarity that we were talking about at the beginning to align with your values. So if there was like a practice or something that you like implement in your routine or like teach the community that really helps people to like anchor down into, that clarity, is there, something that you think you can share?
Yeah. I mean, so a lot of it is coming back to your why. So I talk a lot about that. What is the why of what you're doing? So coming back to those core values, coming back to why you started this in the first place. Most entrepreneurs are creative visionaries. We could do so many different things. We could wear so many different hats. We could probably start an endless amount of businesses, and many of us do. And so coming back to that why you started this one, why that feels important, why that's connected to your core values and what you want to create in this world is such a solid practice that it's not just something you do when you first start the business. It's something you need to do over and over again to connect back, sometimes daily, right? Like put it on a Post-it and come into the office and say, okay, connecting to my why, connecting to my purpose, and connecting to the impact. What's the impact and who am I helping in this is really a great practice of staying centered, keeping clear, keeping focused. And then the practice that goes so complementary to this is gratitude. So really tying into a gratitude practice that's going to work for you, and really connecting to making sure that you're grateful for the journey, you're grateful for the learning, you're grateful for the spiraling up and spiraling down. So really
for the traffic on the 401.
For traffic on
You're grateful for.
No, right? You'll find some funny license plates that you can laugh at.
Totally.
There's gratitude everywhere if we can pause long enough and listen to it or see it. So I think those two practices are really solid for humanity in general, but definitely for entrepreneurs who want to tap into their own inner knowing and inner wisdom, but then also create impact.
Oh, yeah. It's so true that taking that time to get clear and get aligned. And I know that in addition to like some of the business practices in the Monarch community, we also kind of lean into a little bit of the woo and the spiritual and the intuitive side. Do you have any stories about your intuition or, how you maybe like followed your intuition and it led to something amazing in the business or in life, or a way that you kind of practice or implement bringing it in and kind of, integrating all of those things into, that sovereign lifestyle?
Yeah, for sure. Well, and like we talked about creative entrepreneurs and other businesses, I had still have another business, creative entrepreneur, artist. So very visual. I'm a very visual person. So I love a good vision boarding session. I love creating that visual for me. So that is definitely tapping into the vision, the belief, creating that picture. And a lot of my visions and my downloads, as we'll call them, come through dreams.
Okay.
So last year at this time, May actually, I think it was May 8th, I had a dream that of the publishing house. So this was something on my vision board, and I had told myself logically, like the linear entrepreneur, this will be something that I can do when I'm 50. That makes sense.
Yeah, down the road.
These boxes first and all the things, and then had the dream and woke up and said to Kyle, "Oh, we need to do this right now." So,
right now.
like right now. And we went through the motions of launching that. And really, I think tapping in, part of the magic of entrepreneurship is tapping in and listening to those whispers and paying attention to them, because that is the thing that's going to help you quantum leap. It is the thing that's going to make you move forward into aligned action, is really listening to that inner wisdom and knowing that it might not make sense, but it's right.
Oh, I love that. And I totally echo those sentiments. As you know, like I know even to you, some tattoos mean really important things. And I have one that says, listen to the whispers of your soul moment by moment. And I love to hear how other entrepreneurs are, integrating their own beliefs and, that power of the universe to, take us to that place of living in our highest expression. Because when I talk about sovereignty, I'm not just talking about financial or business. Like, I'm the soul attorney. Like, this is for real. This is from a deep place of, this is how we want to exist in the world. And you help so many people exist in the world and show up as their truest self, highest version of their self, through all the amazing things that you do in the business, Amanda. And I'm super grateful for all your time on the show today. And if there's anything, like one gold nugget, I know, how do we pick one? But if there was one gold nugget that you wanted to leave everybody with today, and any kind of place you want to direct people to follow or whatever, please share that with us now.
Oh, one gold nugget. Vanessa, that's like the hardest question.
Oh, I know.
One gold nugget that I'll leave in relation to this conversation, I think, is really listening to that inner wisdom, because it always knows the way. So that, I think, is key. And, whether that's through your gut or your heart, tapping into that and really feeling into that is really where all the gold is. So having a moment to do that. So listen to that inner wisdom, that guidance, the whisper, the downloads, because it knows what your future self is after.
Ooh, so good. That's glittering.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So Amanda can let you know where to follow her, and what to check out that she's got on deck right now.
Yeah. So you can follow me at the Monarch Co. And you can check out all the things we have going on there, the community, the publishing. We have this month, we're kicking off another accelerator inside Momentum. So, really building those strong foundations for entrepreneurs and helping them gain momentum and being aligned and inspired. So, check us out and come join the community.
I love that. And I am a member of the Monarch Momentum community. It's been like a huge thing that has supported me along my business journey. Amanda, you've been with me from the beginning as along for the ride. So grateful for everything. Thank you for your time today, for sharing your wisdom with the audience. There's so much more. This conversation could have lasted for hours and hours and, bottles of wine, but that'll be for another time. But for now, Amanda, we're so grateful that you're able to share with the audience. For all those who are listening, if you love the show, please comment, subscribe, share, and tag me, soul.attorney on Instagram, and let me know what your biggest takeaways are. And with that, my friends, now court is in recess. Oh, oh, oh. That's a wrap for this episode of Sovereign Conversations with the Soul Attorney. If today's conversation sparked something in you, let's keep that momentum going. Head on over to www.thesoulattorney.com to grab free resources, explore my membership community, The Cornerstone, and step even deeper into your power. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, my friends, keep leading, keep trusting, and keep building your empire on your own terms. See you soon.